This is a deeper dive into if Madara can solo the One Piece verse. And if you've already seen my short on this, I will reiterate. No. No, he cannot. Now, this is not me undermining Madara's strength. When it comes to speed, I do believe Madara is fast, but the One Piece verse has shown time and time again that their characters are capable of fighting with and against light speed attacks, and on top of that, there are select few who on top of that can see into the future. All in all, I'm not worried about speed. I feel like they're on equal footing with some slight variation from time to time. We must remember, he is immensely powerful and has some of the most badass moments in anime, included but not limited to his parental ass whooping that he laid upon the Ninja Alliance, and the line, "Would you like these clones to use Susanoo or not?" Speaking of this, let me address this first. One point I've heard is Madara almost soloed his verse. He would do the same to the One Piece cast. And again, no, he would not, because these verses are not the same. The Naruto world, while fun, is definitely on the smaller end. I mean, we had to randomly make thousands of ninja appear out of nowhere for the war to have substance. The troops there totaled 80,000 ninja and samurai. That's combined, not separate. On the other hand, in the Fishman Island arc, again, I repeat, the Fishman Island arc, there were 100,000 fishmen. The Straw Hats had a fight. Well, 50,000 after Luffy knocked out half by flexing. And even before that, we know that the world government had 100,000 foot soldiers at Marineford. And remember, they still had to keep troops stationed around the world because they couldn't leave themselves completely vulnerable. So that was just a fraction. And for a more recent stat, Kaido's crew is 20,000 strong. I'll just leave it at that because we would be here for a while. So what did we learn today? While both worlds are great, they are not the same. So we will act accordingly. Now, of course, we can just point out that Madara would simply be overwhelmed by vast numbers One Piece verse bolsters, but that's too easy. And don't say, well, what about shadow clones? The thing about shadow clones is that your chakra is split whenever you make one. Because Naruto's chakra is so fast, he can make so many, but that's also the reason why they're all one-tap kills, compared to when he just made a few during the Fourth Great Ninja War in the beginning, of course, and they entered the war and were able to stay there for not just a longer time, but take more hits. Now, Madara does not have that chakra to spare because he's going against an entire verse, far larger than his own. And remember, no chakra means death. And we don't want that now, do we? Thing is, the way Naruto is set up, you have extremely strong characters at the top, and then power slowly trickles down, and out of nowhere, it drops like Neji stocks. Like, you know it's bad when Kiba is part of the top 100 strongest characters. On the other hand, some of Luffy's crew don't even make the list of the top 100. It's not because they're weak, it's just that the cast is just that strong. Luffy isn't even part of the overall top 10. Scratch that. Top 15. Fuck it, he's lower than top 20. And that man has reality warping powers. Be serious. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. I knew this task was impossible, but god damn, I didn't know how bad it was. I think people tend to forget that One Piece isn't just Luffy and his crew. But anyway, Madara is walking into a death trap, and even if they graced him with the ones, he would probably run out of chakra before he got to the Logia. And on the Logia note thing, I mean, I will say that because he has an understanding of all natures of chakra and proficiency in some, like, fire, it may help the Logia fights. So he can use the Logia's counterparts in an attack, but that's not guaranteed because Logia users are some of the best trained fighters who are not only aware of, but have found ways to combat and push through their weaknesses. In layman terms, Madara is fucked. As much as I tried to avoid it, even without fighters, he's getting pressed by too many people. But when you have people like Robin who can stop you from weaving signs, or Law who could legitimately just cut your hands off, or take your eyes if he chooses, or switch hearts with the fodder soldier, picking a fight with these guys just seems wrong. Now, where Madara can generally start putting in some fight is after his death, when he comes back with Hashirama cells in his body, giving him a healing factor and word release. And this is where it really depends on both Madara's actions and the One Piece verse actions. An attack that I genuinely thought could be helpful to Madara is his Deep Forest Bloom attack. This emits poison all over the battlefield. Only problem is, we not only have people immune to fair amounts of poison, but we have multiple very skilled doctors, S tier support healer in Marco, and Poison Princess in Reiju, Sanji's sister. And of course, the biggest opposition to this attack, which could have helped take out so many troops, is Caesar the Clown, who could legitimately just control the gases because he is a gas Logia. If he wanted to, he could just combine himself with the gases. Whatever he wants to do with the gas, it's up to him. That's gas guy. Now, Madara's taijutsu prowess will not get him far in this fight because, again, he's not getting jumped by fodder. There's no need to even bring up the meteorites. That's nothing, especially because One Piece has Fujitora. So no need for people to even scramble to stop a meteorite. It's not that big of a problem, at least in the One Piece verse. The problem is, no matter what Madara throws, there's a counter within One Piece. It's almost too perfect. And with all his attacks getting him nowhere, I can see him going into perfect Susanoo form, which could be extremely helpful. Hell, I think Madara may actually take out some good numbers, at least until he gets to those who knows how to use Advanced Conqueror's Haki. And in that case, his Susanoo doesn't really mean shit, because Advanced Conqueror's Haki bypasses external defenses and attacks internally. So any Advanced Conqueror Haki attacks would just hit Madara fully. I think we can understand that OG Madara and Reborn Madara don't stand a chance. The thing is, I'm letting Madara get his attacks off. I'm not even talking about characters that would just speed blitz him at the beginning of the fight. It's just, again, there's always a counter to whatever he does, because the power bank in One Piece is just that extensive. But do not lose hope completely, because there is one Madara that may be able to turn the tide of this battle. And that Madara isn't really Madara at all. It's Madara with the combination of the Ten Tails, powers of the remnants of the Chia clan, Obito and Sasuke. Pretty much just like a scraggle of a whole bunch of people. But this is Jubidara. Now, Jubidara is a major problem for the Narutoverse, and it's technically he did win, because until he was betrayed, of course, but he did reach his goal. The problem here, once again, is the fact that people are thinking Madara's powers translate from Naruto to One Piece. And once again, no, they do not. The biggest thing I hear is once Infinite Tsukiyomi activates, it's over. But not in the slightest. I think people forget that Genjutsu is manipulation of chakra, and this isn't a transferable chakra. It's not like Heartbeat, which is something everyone in every anime character has just because they're a living being. Chakra in Naruto comes directly from the Kaguya bloodline that was divided into her two children. Kind of like the Adam and Eve situation, where everyone is a distant cousin of each other, all tracing back to one person. I realized a better example of this would actually be the Eldians in Attack on Titan. How if you're an Eldian, you can transform into a Titan, and if you're not, you can't. Same goes for Naruto. The only difference is everyone comes from the Kaguya bloodline, because it starts off with Kaguya, and then it splits off into her sons, and then it carries on from there. So going into another verse, no one's going to have chakra, so they don't share the limitations or the benefits of chakra. See, it's like a gene, because not one single person has this chakra gene in One Piece. The Infinite Tsukiyomi is nothing but a light show. Sorry. Same goes for Madara being invulnerable to jutsu. Pirates don't use jutsu because their powers aren't based on chakra. That means Jupiter is getting the full menu of combos. Like, it's just looking grim. Now, I will say there is one way that I do see Madara like getting the upper hand and possibly even coming on top. And I think this will be through the way of True Seeking Orbs. True Seeking Orbs offer an amazing defense and offense, and immediate contact leads to disintegration, which, if not handled correctly, will lead to destruction of the One Piece verse. At the very least, the lower end members, because once again, Madara's biggest folly is fighting a verse that does not share his verse's weakness. While I do not believe that the One Piece verse will suffer, while I do believe that the One Piece verse will suffer major losses, those who have advanced Conqueror's Haki will have no problem reflecting and blocking these orbs. One thing I did almost forget is Obito's Sharingan, while Madara wouldn't be able to like full on create a water attack strong enough to disable all Devil Fruit users. Water is a weakness of Devil Fruit users, and we have to be aware of that. I mean, at the same time too, like some water attacks come out in like an orb to surround a person. Problem is Luffy is Luffy. We can see him just consuming that entire orb and showing up as a blob. He's done this before. It's just that you usually want to put him like in a giant tank of water where it's like not enough for him to just drink and enough for him to just drown, you know? But even if Madara can't make an attack that can like subdue all the Devil Fruit users, one thing he could do, thanks to Obito's Sharingan, is transport Devil Fruit users to another place that has a vast amount of water and drop them off there. Now, emphasis on a possibility, because there are a lot of Devil Fruit users, and at the same time too, you have to remember a lot of these Devil Fruit users have developed some form of flight to avoid falling into water. Big Mom has her homies, Kaido's a dragon, Luffy has his multiple forms that now have flying, Law just like chooses an item, makes him levitate, Kid also just makes items levitate to keep him flying. Again, we just have counters to these things, but nonetheless, like that really could help him out. Like I don't know if I could see him like teleporting, leaving, like, you know, just like every single character into like water. Not every character has a Devil Fruit, but nonetheless, just like teleporting them away, that might help, honestly. Like I will give him that option as a dub. Like there is in one verse, one of these fights, he is somehow able to teleport every person away individually and like take them on solo. I'd say there's like a 2% chance that he would win in under that circumstance, because the second he comes back, he's getting beat the fuck up. But it's still a possible outlet. I'm trying to give him out. Like, one thing that I know is that if Madara did fight each One Piece character, I can't really see anyone beating him one-on-one. Well, at least Jubidara, I can't see anyone beating Jubidara one-on-one. I definitely know that there's One Piece characters that could beat Madara one-on-one, but Jubidara, I don't think any One Piece character as right now has like something to go against that. Even Luffy with his like kind of reality warping isn't even like all the way there yet, to be completely honest with you. But the problem is, you guys wanted to see him fight the entire verse. He cannot do that. Like, logically, he cannot do that. I'm not even going to send anyone from One Piece of the Naruto verse to fight solo, because they just cannot do that. That's not possible. Like, that term, like, oh, they can solo the verse, that is with some people like crazy powerful, but like it's kind of dumb when you think about it. Like, even sending like Goku in some of these places, he can get packed up, and it's not like, oh, he can get packed up because someone is stronger than him. They just have wacky ass powers you can't do shit against. Like, you have to remember, we have people who can slow down time, people who can time travel. We have a dude who makes barriers that cannot be broken. No matter how strong the attack is, it cannot be broken. Maybe there's a counter if you have Haki, but you're not in the One Piece verse, so it doesn't matter if you have Haki because you don't have it. You're from another universe. Like there's these points where it's just it doesn't really have any merit to tell someone like, oh, they can solo said verse. Now, of course, like, you send Goku to Pokemon. I mean, then again, there's probably some Pokemon with godly powers. Let me not even say that. I'm trying to think of a verse where it's like you send them somewhere. Yeah, send Goku to Spy X Family. Of course he's gonna solo the verse. Of course. But like, with some of these verses, there's too many powers. There's not much you can do. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. So I stand by the fact that Madara just cannot solo the One Piece verse. Like, we also even forgot. I forgot. Like, even if you wanted Madara to use Infinite Tsukuyomi, he would have to use it at night when the moon is present. Why would you want to fight at night knowing that you have Sulong characters in One Piece who feed off of the night, the full moon? That's not a good idea. Like, you're gonna end up fighting a lot of One Piece characters at their strongest, which I just highly don't recommend. Again, it's just I can push a point further, but I think we're pretty much at the point where you should understand it's just not possible. I'm sorry. And I do get the whole like Infinite Tsukuyomi thing. If for some reason it won't work, but like if you wanted to say that it would work, that might be a way that Madara could win, is through Infinite Tsukuyomi. That's the only way I could really see him winning, is if he can get that off. But again, without chakra, it really doesn't mean shit. And there's a lot of characters who kind of like keep a cloak around them of Haki, which may or may not help them, like Sasuke Susanoo did. I can't say for sure because I genuinely don't know. But again, on that point too, Logias don't have the same anatomy as a human. They are made completely of their element. So what are you gonna do in that case? I don't know. Again, they're just these confusing things where it's like, it's not a good idea to put Madara against this verse. Not at all. I'm sorry. Think about how this is going to go. I mean, it's been something that's been on my mind for a while. Again, I knew that he wasn't going to win, but I just didn't realize how bad it is. Now, here's one thing I would say is, I feel like what would be more interesting, rather than just like say like him go against a verse, is him going against like the top like 100 characters, like the strongest 100 characters in the show, because the top 100 characters in One Piece are actually strong characters, but him going against an entire verse just is not good for him. And even with that, I would say again, normal Madara, reanimated Madara are not clearing the 100. Again, not talking about like one-on-one. I'm talking about like he's getting jumped, good old-fashioned Naruto style. He's not clearing that. And I'm thinking about Jubidara. If Jubidara could go against the top 100 characters, that's gonna be hard too, because again, it's just there's too many powers to combat. With everything that he has, someone else has something to go against it. Because here's the thing too, where I've been teetering back and forth with the Logia, if they're able to like use their element, like not just like what they produce, but what's around them. And I think that the One Piece show has shown that like that is the case. Because I mean, think of Crocodile. He stayed in the desert because he was surrounded by sand. That's what made like a lot of his attacks more powerful, is because he was around his element and could use that in his favor. Like he was making these gigantic sandstorms, not through like his own attacks, but because he's already in the desert. So that means any attacks that Madara uses, whether it be lightning, you have a Nell that's just gonna take that and use that for his own benefit. His wood attacks, you have Green Bull, who's gonna use that in his favor. Fire, you have Sabo, who's gonna use that in his favor. Like legitimately, he doesn't really have anything working for him. And I don't care how low you can throw hands, you're getting packed up. That's the problem. There's just nothing working in his favor in this case. Now, of course, if someone has like something that I missed, or they feel like I got wrong, let me know. Like I'm not perfect. Like I'm open to hearing these things. And yeah, if anyone wants to see like another fight, I'm down to hear it. I'm down to hear it out, not just hear it out, but like make a video on it. It was nice. Again, I do appreciate being able to do this, but my mind has not changed. I may have changed yours, and if I didn't, I guess I didn't. But thank you for stopping by.